Oh, this feels good. All right.
Hi, I'm Em.
I'm Joe.
And welcome to Still Saying Yes to Us.
This is our second video in our series about our relationship and how it started and
how it's growing
for the past 31 years.
31 years.
So, all right. Our first video was we were talking about how we met. Now this next one is going to be about how we maintain that relationship. Like I was going to Hocking College, which is down in Southeast Ohio.
I was at Muskingum University, which was in Central Ohio.
And how far is that away? I forget.
It was like a 2 hour, 15 minutes.
Was it 2 hours? Wow.
Well, because it was all back road.
That's true. But no, that don't really. Was it 2 hours?
It was like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Okay.
There was a lot less traffic on the road.
And this is our cat.
This is Harlo. She's one of the demons.
Yes. You'll be seeing her and her sister, Eclipse,
throughout the video because they have free reign.
Yep.
Hi.
So like I said, I was down at Hocking, and at the same time, we had met, and like I said, I drove up to Muskingum to just party, just to get out of where I was. Hocking's a little small town. At the time it was a small school, and there wasn't much going on in the weekends. So, like I said, I knew somebody who went to Muskingum, or his brother went to Muskingum, so I came up for the weekend.
And my Muskingum was 2 hours from where I grew up, outside of Cleveland, Ohio.
And I'm from Akron,
Ohio. So what was funny was we met 2 hours away from home, ended up growing up 35 minutes away from each other. So when we would go home on breaks, it was just, we could see each other and date over Christmas and summer and stuff, do dating and fun little things like that.
Yeah.
Regular things.
So, like I said, I used to drive up every weekend, and I'd drive into town, and then I would, I'd go up to the dorm.
I'd be waiting.
They let me in the back door. Because yours was on the first floor, wasn't it?
No, that year I was on the third floor.
We're on the third floor. Oh wow.
The next year was going to be the first floor.
So when I was there, I said I checked my penis at the door.
Because I had two roommates who were both female, and one, when Joe would say I checked it, knew exactly what we were talking about, loved him, accepted it, the whole bit. The other girl was not so happy about our relationship. She felt threatened by Joe, which
I can see that.
I can't.
Well,
most of my friends couldn't. It divided the sorority.
Did it really?
Yeah, when she moved out, it divided us.
Was she in a sorority as well?
She was in FAD with us.
Oh, I didn't know that. But...
yeah, it divided the whole crew.
Sorry, didn't mean to do that.
Honestly, what had happened was she was not fond of you because she didn't know you. She felt threatened by you.
Yeah.
But she had a boyfriend who lived on the floor below us. So she had a place to go that was safe.
So it was co-ed. I thought it was I didn't think it was co-ed at the time.
Yeah, it was co-ed. Each floor, girls, boys, girls, boys.
Oh.
I was on, and then...
oh, that's right, because I used to use the shower down on the men's floor.
You used to just sneak down the back steps of the men's dorm.
It was.
Yeah. So her fiance lived below us. I didn't think anything of it. He had no restrictions coming in our bedroom. In our dorm room, I had no qualms with her friends being male or female coming in. So I didn't understand why she had such a big block about you.
No, it's reasonable. I can say it's reasonable.
It was not reasonable when she moved out in February. We met in October. She moved out 4 months later because she said you were going to rape her.
Nice. Nice.
Notice the disbelief on my face. He's never lifted a finger.
No.
He's never raised his voice, rarely raises his voice to me. And I've never felt threatened in any way, shape, or form from this man. So when that was said to me at that point, I looked at her, I said, do you know what it is to be threatened by somebody? And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, have you ever been hit by your parents? Have you ever been...
Wow.
And she just looked at me. And our RA went, oh shit. I said, I have, and this is not what... He does not exhibit any of this behavior. Sorry, I have generational childhood trauma. You'll find out plenty of that, I promise.
Yeah.
But that was the start of it. And my other roommate was like, no, Joe's trustworthy. He doesn't do anything. You'd already gotten her out of the fraternity house. She got locked in a dorm room in a fraternity boys' board. Remember the one night? I think it was...
You're talking about D?
Yeah, we're talking about
Okay.
D. And she was on the other hill.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do remember that.
We had to go running over to get her out of some guy's room because she got locked in a room. He wasn't allowed in the fraternity house because he wasn't a member and he didn't know anybody. And they were having a party that was closed.
The U's?
What?
Was that the U's?
No. It was not the All-Stars.
So, okay.
It was a different fraternity.
Oh, okay.
The Greek letters are all running together 31 years later.
Yeah. Well, I never participated in any kind of Greek, other than the Stags, who weren't really a fraternity. They were a bunch of... It was like Animal House.
It was. But we got her and we walked over and the guys are like, he can't come in, but you can. And I'm like, well, if I get stuck in there, he's coming after me. You remember that?
Vaguely.
I remember walking in and I took one of my friends who was in that fraternity. I said, you're going with me. I have to get D out of a room. He said, oh shit. And I just started screaming. I was running through screaming, D, where the fuck are you?
Nice.
And he's laughing. My friend was laughing because the party before I'd met Joe, he was carrying me around on his shoulders. I was willing to try anything in college.
Same dude?
Wow. Good guy. He liked me. The guys liked me. I played euchre, I played poker, I drank. I was one of the guys. I was not one of the girls. I was protected, so I had privileges that I shouldn't have had.
Oh.
By being one of the guys, you get privileges with the guys.
Okay. Yeah.
Why are we needing me?
My college, or my junior college, like that would be a junior college?
Technical school.
Or my tech school wasn't. It was a bunch of, say, hillbillies. That's the best thing to describe it as. We were all like natural resource geeks. Park rangers, foresters.
Can I help you?
Somebody's saying hi.
She's biting me.
No.
Give me my wrist.
But
look at this.
Nice. So what? How many? Stop! Don't play with her.
I didn't mean to. But
so how long? It was what? 2 years? A year?
Yes. A year we were long distance in school, and then after that school year ended, and I realized I wanted to be closer to you.
Right.
And
Thank you.
I wanted a better education.
Okay.
And both of those were achievable by going to Ohio University. So I transferred, at our 1 year anniversary, I transferred down.
And you were there a year before me, right?
6 months.
6 semesters, or a semester?
Yeah, a while.
It was at 2 quarters. It was quarters at the time.
I don't know, a year. Anyway. I don't know. I started my 3rd year at Ohio U. I'd done 2 years at Muskingum, and then my 3rd year I did at Ohio U.
So didn't you take a break between?
Yeah, when I decided to transfer, I didn't transfer on time, so I had to take a semester off or a quarter off, depending which school you were at.
Right. Well, then I got my associates. Then all my teachers were saying, don't waste your time. Just go down there, get your bachelor's. Go down to Ohio, you get your bachelor's. And she was already there, so I'm like, okay. And I was a Navy Reserve person. I had Navy Reserves like 1 weekend a month. So I got my $200, and I moved down there, got an apartment.
I had an apartment off in town as well, a little further up from campus. I was considered a county at that point, but because I lived amongst the Athens residents, and honestly, we were there for what, 3 years together?
Yeah, I was 3 years there.
We lived together for 3 years there. College was great and not so great in a lot of ways, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
But
College definitely makes you aware of your not your liabilities, but your inabilities and your abilities real fast.
yeah, I'm mad at you, Kat.
So while we were there, she had her own apartment, as you said, and I had an apartment uptown. I only paid $200. I mean, it was a room, the shared kitchen and shared bathroom, but you actually had an apartment.
I had a 1-bedroom, bath, kitchen.
It was a garage that somebody turned into an apartment.
It really was. It was a converted 2-car garage, and it was one of the best apartments we've ever had. I say that because all utilities were included.
Yes.
And it had a good heater, a good AC. He took care of the appliances. He took care of anything I ever called about. Because I was really... One thing you'll notice throughout the series of getting to know Joe and I is we communicate really well. We communicate our needs, and I communicated that similarly with my landlord, and he respected me because I didn't have parties and I didn't have, I wasn't a problem. My rent was on time. I didn't destroy the house. And I was there for 3 years. He was sad to see me go. But that building was the building he would send his kids to when they were in school.
What was it, LaRue?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're still there, but he was a good property manager. He was good.
Yeah.
So that's how we ended up at Ohio University.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was really where we laid the foundation to build our marriage.
Yeah.
Like, when you move in with somebody, and this is going to sound bad, it's been 30 years. I forget half the shit that pissed me off 30 years ago. But we had minor fights.
Oh, yeah.
But we also had a couple big ones.
Well, we were learning who we were. First of all, I was still learning who I was.
Yeah. I was learning to adapt to a relationship, and my mother was telling me I was too young to be serious. I was early 20s. And granted, that is really young to start a serious relationship with someone you end up married and with the rest of your life. But for me, the situation was I met the person who had the qualities I needed. Yeah. I knew that, and I was willing to make sacrifices to get to this point.
Right.
And I knew when we were 22, I wanted to be with you when I was 80. So
I was still clueless, to be honest with you. I was still clueless. I was transitioning from a child,
young adult.
Yeah, young adult with all the issues that my family, all the issues I have with my family and the stuff they've done.
Which we'll talk about.
That and what else? Being alone for the first time. Or no, I wasn't actually alone for this first time, but this time I was already alone. Now I'm now I'm having to build a relationship with somebody, and I'm living there at the same time. So it was like I knew roommate. I never had a roommate before, so now I have a roommate. So all those issues.
I was an only child, so I'd had roommates from college, but
I had a younger brother and younger sister.
I was an only child. I never had to share my bedroom or share my toys or worry about food or.
Yeah, that was it. What was it? The amount of the food I ate was, or the amount of food I ate was exceptional, I guess.
No, it wasn't that. It was just one day my mom helped support me through college. And my parents divorced when I was really young. And my dad was out of the picture. So my mom is sending me money for food. And one day I sent home, she saw the grocery receipts and she's like, that's a lot of food for one girl.
Thank you, MJ's mom.
Yeah.
Or thank you, M's mom.
You can call me MJ, but I prefer M.
Okay. Sorry.
Turd.
We're new to this.
Harlo's new to this too, but
Yeah.
she's a natural. Can you tell?
Going to sleep. She's going to sleep.
She's terrorized us enough for the hour.
But all right. Yes, I see that. Nice.
Yeah.
So we lived in that arrangement for what, 3 years?
Yeah, and then we moved from Athens back to the Cleveland area with my mom for 2 months after college.
So
because she had room for both of us.
So we're going to leave it right there. This is still saying yes to us. If you like this content, leave a like, leave a comment below, leave us a question or a comment below, and subscribe for more content. You guys have a great day.
I'm going to scratch my cat.
All right. Have a good day. See you later.
Hi, Harlo.